And I'm actually kind of curious what you think about this. What do you think people should do in terms of the digital, what would you say, the digital way the flow they talk, or even just the digital mannerisms people have? What do you think people should do? Because obviously we do live in a digital world where we email, we text, calling is obviously a little different, but we message, we Instagram, we LinkedIn it, we do a lot of different things, right? What do you think would be the best thing someone can do instead of actually just doing like the messaging of, oh, we need to talk? What do you think, what do you find is the best way to communicate in response to things?
So I did a study on this. It's in the book, but
wow.
Because I wanted to know, and that goes back to the question that Walmart asked me.
Yeah.
So for boomers, you just write it out in a long email. Force yourself to write a long email. Use Gen I if you have to.
Yeah.
But talk about the who, what, when, where, and why. And then you're so clear. Make sure the subject line is clear. It doesn't have an emoji. For Gen X, make sure you write that email, again, in an email, in point form. Here's the overall, here's a sentence that describes the overall problem. Here are the points I want to discuss. Here's the date I want to discuss it. When you're talking to millennials, put it in a text and just say, look, here's the problem. Here's what I need to discuss. Excited about your solutions. And I usually add an emoji, just because I genuinely like the people I work with. Yeah. So I always had a smiley face. Don't ever negate the power of a smiley face.
Yeah.
And then when we're working with Gen Z, it's just got to be a lot more clear and even more simplified, which is, hey, I have a problem. I need your help. This is what it is. Let's talk tomorrow at 9 a.m. Okay? Question mark. Again, smiley face.
Right. Do you think it's actually an issue for people around the world, who have businesses and, the leaders who are trying to email and try to get things done for their business? Do you find people have more trouble with it than they realize?
Yeah, they're lazy leaders. They're writing things in how they want to communicate versus how their staff need it communicated. There's an example in the book, high performing salesperson at a top 5 Fortune company. And she got a text, that was all caps from her boss. That looked like her boss was yelling at her on a Friday. I need to talk to you Monday. Yeah. It was all like this. Make sure you get a time with me. And it was all in caps.
That's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah.
By the end of the weekend, not only had she applied for 100 other jobs, she's ready to be fired Monday morning. She has her resume all done up, her letter of resignation done up. It's over. She walks into the boss's office and he says, oh, great, let's have a quick status with everybody. They're on the call. He says, I'll call her Debbie. Debbie, actually, that's the name I used in the book. Debbie, I would like to celebrate your great success. You exceeded your quarterly expectations. This is awesome. Everybody give Debbie a round of applause. And Debbie's like, what?
Yeah.
So then, she says to him quietly when they're not online, I thought you were firing me. You sent me an all text. He goes, oh shit, sorry. I was late picking up the kids at daycare. And I did, I didn't realize it was in all caps. That could have been a really bad situation for that company. And leaders, it just takes 1 second. And I know we're all running late. And I know we have 1,000 things to do. And I have to do it myself constantly with a multi-generational team. But understand what the message you are sending means. Even if you have to make it brief, make it clear.
Wow.
Is that
yeah, that makes total sense. And it's if you just take the time to actually just put the email where it actually needs to be, where it's, people can understand the full picture of things. When you kind of give a one little liner, it's kind of no one really gets it. And they kind of all freak out because it's oh my God, what do we do? You know what I mean? So I totally appreciate that. I always find that too with a lot of people that I speak to sometimes, we're all busy. We're writing these really quick emails, and sometimes the communication comes off a little it seems a little wrong, or it seems a little not the correct response that you want to get from a communication where it's not intentional, but it happens like that.
Exactly. And miscommunication has been happening throughout our entire world. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But why not limit it? Because what we have to look at is productivity numbers. Mm-hmm. You want your staff to be as productive as possible. Yeah. You want your staff to have as less emotional trauma as possible. Like
Right.
that was sheer trauma for that woman.
Right.
And so, and it could have been like you just talked about it. You thought you were getting fired by what can we do? So, how do we eliminate that? Because that negatively affects productivity. And if we go back to everything every leader is talking about, which is lower costs, increase the business. How do we do that? How do we increase productivity? And HR is always the biggest pain point. How much we're spending on people, so if you just think about how you, like I created even a manager's guide, and if anybody wants it, they can like reach out to me on LinkedIn. We've got a manager's training on all of this and about AI and how it works with generations. This is part of what we need to be thinking about. Like everybody's been thinking about AI and, oh, big scary AI. Forget it. AI's here. It's like the light. It's on.
Right.
But now what you have to do is look at how you make profit from AI and how you team profits from AI. That's the question for 2025.
Right.
It isn't, are we going to use AI? Well, dude, everybody's already using AI. So next.
Exactly. It's sort of like it's sort of here. You can't really avoid it because it's already part of every system. It's on our phones. It's in our computers, our TVs. It's like everywhere.
I know. I thought, wow, look at that new Apple phone that has AI built right into emailing.
Yes.
I'm like, do I ever have to answer another email? What?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. I mean, for example, I have a Google phone, right? I'm not a big Google advocate, but like I like the phone so much of it that the AI tools on it are just so workable, and like it just does everything I need to do,
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm a very, just a little bit about me, just because I know you don't know.